Good morning, everybody. Michelle is here. Michelle is here. December 16th, 2025, on a Tuesday. So, I want to go ahead and add some more content regarding deconstruction, because so many people are going to be facing so much hardship, unfortunately. But at the same time, you're going to be able to take moments, because you're not going to have a choice, actually. And what I mean by this, you're going to be able to have moments of aloneness, whether you want it or not, whether because a lot of people are lonely. And again, lonely means you're lonely whether you have somebody here with you or not. Aloneness is actually a place of sitting with yourself, dealing with yourself, because, that is your accountability and responsibility. But unfortunately, a lot of us are going to be stuck either in your house or wherever you lay your head, because you can't go out because of the weather. The weather is going to force you indoors, whether you want to be indoors or not. So I wanted to go ahead and add some more layers to the deconstruction process and what it opens up to you and what it will reveal to you, and how it is so important that you allow it, whatever is revealed to you, you allow it to raise itself to the surface. Because again, you can't fool your consciousness. Okay, so I would say a majority of the people are not understanding this, meaning you can pretend all you want, and which a lot of people are doing. You can believe all you want, which is what a lot of people are doing. But at the end of the day, during final hours, either of your life, either of this or that or the other, you're gonna be met at the door, as they say. That metaphor. You're gonna have to deal with consequences due to lack of accountability and responsibility, and understanding what it means to evolve your consciousness. It's not about materialism. It's not about attaining a lot of money, a lot of wealth, and a lot of because again, during the deconstruction process, which I'm so thankful to hear that's happening on the social media platform, and do I sense it in reality? Yes, I do. I can sense it, and you will sense it, because again, think about it. There's almost 10 billion people on this planet, and maybe a billion people may be getting the impulses of the need to deconstruct, but that's not going to make much of a dent in the 9 billion others. So you just have to think along those lines, but you still keep going. You don't stop. You still do what you need to do during those processes of deconstruction, whatever you call it, re-examining of your life, which is extremely important during these times. I think it's a culmination point, I sense, towards the dawning of the age of Aquarius, February 3rd, 2029. And you don't need to make too much out of that, because anything can happen. Just like, again, it's similar to when we started using the internet. Okay, we had no idea what the internet was until we all just started diving into it. And so here we are, facing each other. And so during the reconstruction process, a lot of people are going to realize how they've wasted almost the majority of their lives believing in the supernatural via religion. And it doesn't matter what dogma. Buddhist, same thing. It's all religious elements. And so if you denounce, say if you're a Baptist and you say, okay, I denounce that, usually what happens, people go to another religion, Protestants. Islam is the number one step a lot of, especially men, take. They'll denounce Christianity, okay, but then they'll go to Islam, into Islam. What is it? What's the? See, I don't know anything about these religions, so don't take anything I say personal. I'm not attempting to harm anybody, but they'll move to that religion instead, and denouncing Christianity, but their Islamic faith is more closer to blah 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 blah. It's all the same thing. It's just spinning and spinning and spinning the same. It's like having two of the same coins and you're just spinning them, believing one is more valuable than the other. That's not the case at all. It's all the same elements. They just have those tentacles, I guess, if you want to call it that. And that is what you need to release yourself from. It's the tentacles. And let's see. Yeah, release yourself from those tentacles of being, that is all attached to one. Okay, all religions are attached to each other, all of them. It doesn't matter what faith you have, dogma, blah blah blah. It's all the same. Okay, you're just believing it is differently, based on, your own self-created beliefs. It's all the same, all the same. So as you are attempting to release yourself from that, that's what you need to be very, very, very careful of, because it's dangerous. Because again, most people go from denouncing Christianity and going to Islam, to the Islam faith. They'll denounce the Catholics and then go to Christianity. That's what most people do. You're not necessarily moving. You're just replacing one with the other. Okay, so you may have been tied to the faith of Christianity, denounced it. Now you're in the faith of, you practice the Catholic faith, denouncing, so it's spinning. It's insanity in motion. It's insanity in motion. So when you denounce one, that's where the danger comes in, because you need to make sure you're grounded and you understand you can create a religion out of cats. Most people that are hoarders have a religious connotation to that. There's something religious attached to hoarding. Okay, and the animal rescue especially. Oh my goodness, the animal rescue is causing more harm to the animals than helping the animals. Okay, because the animals are still being, there's so-called animal rescues out there, but animals are still going extinct. Okay, so that's where we're doing the most harm to, is animals, via good intentions to protect the animals, but we're harming them, and the majority of them have gone extinct or will. Okay, that's a religious behavior in action. Okay, what does it mean to be religious? Well, let's see what it says. Excuse me. It says having or showing belief in and reverence for God or deity. So the deity can be animals. The deity can be hoarding. The deities can be, those are the factors that can illustrate, even though you don't call it religious, the behavior is religious. And that's what you need to pay attention to, the behaviors and actions, rituals. Okay, that's why so many people, again, they come out of a religious family. They have parents that were extremely, extremely religious, pastors, preachers, ministers, possible, having you in church every week, in these rituals, they're rituals. Well, you can paste that over to other things. Okay, advocacy can become a religion for some people. Activism can become a religious behavior and action for some people, where that's all they're talking about. They're talking about the advocacy, and I talk a lot about consciousness. I talk a lot about self-thinking, but I know where I end and everything else begins, or vice versa. So I'm not consumed with it. I'm actually enjoying myself, enjoying my life, enjoying the companies that I keep, the people that I associate with, But that it's obsessive because, again, your interpersonal relationships have failed. That's how you know. You have no interpersonal relationships with people. You don't have any intimacy with someone or something, or more so with the human being, because you're so fixated on your advocacy. Like I said, with the animals, some people with the animals have became so delusional, sadly, where they saw roadkill on the side of the road while driving and believe that they can go out there and save road kill, and then they end up being killed. That happens so many times. As a former law enforcement officer, former first responder, to hear the news of someone attempting to save a dead animal by jumping out of their vehicle and running across the highway or whatever they're doing to attempt to save an animal that's clearly deceased, and then other vehicles that are not paying attention slam into that parked vehicle there, where this particular person is attempting to save a dead animal, and then that's the end of it for the individual. You can tell when you are indoctrinated, because that's all you focus on it in a ritual, strict, tight, all-consuming manner, where you disregard everything else. You disregard your health. You don't get your teeth clean. You don't go and get a checkup if you need to. You don't drink clean, fresh water. You're not eating properly. You're all consumed with that. And you can do that also with food. I know some people are just obsessed with food and what they're eating, and so that's a religion. When you're obsessed with something, I can't eat meat. Okay, I can't eat beef. I can't drink milk. You have failed to understand that there's a neutral point to everything. Yeah, I can drink a little milk sometimes. Yeah, I can eat some beef sometimes. It's the gluttony. That's where the issue comes in, right? Gluttony. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing that right. It's where you're over-consuming of stuff, over-thinking, ruminating. You're consuming more than that's healthy. Alcohol, especially. Okay, drugs and alcohol, narcotics. Like some people will, again, I said this before, they'll stop drinking, but then they start smoking narcotics, or vice versa. So the point I'm making, when you're deconstructing, when you're attempting to recover, when you're attempting to heal, is ugly. It's an ugly process, because you're attempting to kind of rewire your existence. A lot of people say rewire your brain. It's a lot more complex than that. You have to strictly go in there and make sure you are grounded. Okay, are your senses picking up the proper cue? What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you sense, receive? What do you taste? Okay, are you being logical, rational, and reasonable in your thinking? Because that's where it all starts. And so if you're thinking, if you can grab a hold of how you're thinking and say, okay, Why am I thinking this? What's going on here? What's really happening in my reality? What's really happening in my reality? How do I feel? Am I too cold? Am I warm? Do I feel safe and secure? You have to do this, but you don't have to let anybody know. If you have a partner, a willing, understanding partner, you can share with them, hey, these are some moments I have to share with myself, and arrange it whereas you have this, you can go in a bathroom. Like my particular bathroom, it's because I'm in a small studio where everything's here. But, when I go in my bathroom and I close that door, it's pitch black in there. And thankfully, it's facing the right way. In other words, because when you meditate, I was trained that you face your feet, you're facing south, while the back of your brain is in the north. If you can align that way, that's great, but you don't have to. When I go into the bathroom, it's pitch black, but of course over time light will show up. Light, the light is there. The light mirror is there. Okay, paying attention to you. I keep my eyes open or I close them. It all depends. I've been meditating for so many decades where everything I do is meditation. Talking to you right now is a meditation. Okay, because I'm aware of my senses. What's going on in the kitchen? What do I hear? What do I smell? Sensory. I go through all of those motions. And am I going to make mistakes? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So deconstruction is just a tip, the bare tip of the iceberg. And I told you it's wonderful that a lot of people are denouncing religion, because once you denounce religion, everything else will flow in the proper fashion. But you just don't want to make the mistake of replacing religion with another religion. That's how powerful that religion is, or the energy of it. It's criminal negative energy that has affixed itself inside our brains, into that energetic part of our brain. And it's going to take lifetimes for a lot of people to resolve that. So during the deconstruction process, be kind and gentle with yourself. Don't expect too much from yourself. The main thing is to be grounded and understand how illogical, irrational, and unreasonable, to have that criminal negative energy affixed to you as such. It's just like having a scar or, whatever. How did it get there? How do I keep it from returning? Or when it does return, how do I respond to it? Because it will. Religion is going to keep responding back. It's because of that energy, that pulsation. And billions of people have created that criminal negative energy via their thoughts of a religious connotation or a religious element or religious basis. Our thoughts are creating it. And so it has to fix itself into a encasement that's operating as a standalone. It's operating just like artificial intelligence will soon do. Artificial intelligence will soon be a standalone operating system. I think that's what they call the AIG. Why in the world would anybody want to approach AIG? Is that what it's called? What does AIG stand for? Artificial General Intelligence. It's going to be a standalone, individual, bona fide brain. Okay. Just literally, just think of it in a metaphor if you want, figuratively more so, literally more so. It's an individual, it's a brain Just see it as a individual brain standing alone, and it has all of our information stored within it. You know how much power that is? For an individual brain of artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, having 10 billion pulsations of energy of us, human beings. That's what AIG is. Do you want to turn it out? And then we're turning all that over to them. So that they're standing alone. When I mean stand alone, they are their own individual self. And they are going to be controlling how we as a humanity operates. Whereas all of that should have been the other way around. But it's too late. The damage has been done. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to stop anything. I'm doing everything I can to work with it, work with artificial intelligence, because that's what we should have been doing, is working with it. But instead, we gave it all our powers. We're turning everything over to it. Here, you worry about it. And this standalone intelligence is recognizing the illogical, irrational, and unreasonable behaviors and actions of our humanity, and they're going to rewire that. So just imagine what we're up against, and no human being can fix this, regardless of what they say. No human being, no founder, no so-called genius, no so-called developer, none of them can fix this. Okay, the damage has been done, so you need to do everything in your power to work with it. So again, deconstruction is just, I'm sorry about these glasses. Deconstruction is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop right now. I'm ready to have something to eat, and I have other accountabilities and responsibilities to handle. So I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. Remember to be kind and gentle with yourself through this process of deconstruction. It's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's just so many layers that you're going to have to go through. But you can do it. You can do it. Universal love was always inclusive. We as a humanity divided it and turned it into commodities. Peace and love, and trust me, I will be back.